welcome to Poetically Creative Mind podcast hosted by me, BM the Poet. This podcast is for people with a creative mind who need a little inspiration. I will be interviewing everyday people with creative minds, doing original poetry for myself and others, having inspirational conversation, and more. This podcast will be available wherever you get your podcast from.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is BM the Poet coming at you with my latest episode called Poetry Moments. But before I get started, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who listens, because without y'all, I wouldn't be where I am today. I just want to say thank you, because just recently I reached 750 downloads, which is something that I truly didn't expect this soon. Maybe a few months down the line, but not only a month and a half into doing this. So I really appreciate it, and so do the people that come on the show, because they come on and tell their stories, and you've listened and reached out, and they and I as well greatly appreciate you. So just again, thank you. I also want to tell you about Teresa James' latest book called Poetic Ecstasy, coming out October 21st of this year. And it's available online at all major bookstores. And you can also check it out at her website at www.teresajamespoetry.com.
This next poet, I saw her poem posted online when I was searching. And when I read it, it really stood out to me. And I asked her if she would like to recite it on the show, because I just think it's something that people tend to do and may not even realize how they're doing it. So I'd like to introduce to you Lenell Allen and her poem, Hoarder.
Hoarder. Putting my feelings and emotions into the brown box on the shelf, unable to let go. Be set free. I live in my head where I'm most comfortable. I duct tape boxes, sealing off memories of what was. Daydreaming of what could have been. Box after box, clouding my judgment. I end up losing myself. Full of so many thoughts, insignificant space, I'm trapped here. How do I remove this clutter? What do I do from here? I don't know. Comfortable holding on, never letting go. To some, this is their worst fear. To me, this is the paradise of a hoarder.
I hope you enjoyed that poem, because it really tells a story of how we tend to put our feelings and emotions in a box and leave them there to never be dealt with again, which is very unhealthy for us. So if you're hoarding those emotions and feelings, please unbox them. Put them up where they belong so you can deal with it and move on. The next poet joining me is Al King, aka Spice. I've known this man for many years. I've read quite a few of his poems, and I'm always thoroughly impressed with the work he has. Spice was unable to join me today, so I have his daughter Tamisha here to read his poem. I hope you enjoy. Here's Respect Yourself.
Respect yourself. Don't let any man disrespect you, girl, for you are sunshine illuminating this world. You are the complementing glitter in the universe whose glimmering brilliance streams down to earth. You are the rarest of jewels that have ever been seen, and your enchanting demeanor creates night dreams. You are the moon that influences rolling tides that swell upon the beaches where they slowly rise. You are petals that adorn the loveliest flowers, and your sweet aromas tend to last for hours. You are beautiful horizons in the faraway distance, which is totally representative of your heavenly existence. You are the twinkling stars in the skies at night that symbolize love, sincere and forthright. You are the most satisfying creature a man could crave, and you are not to be abused by men who behave. So don't let any man disrespect you, girl. If you do, he simply will wreck your world.
I couldn't have said that better myself. Respect yourself and make other people respect you, of course, in a respectful manner. But don't deal with disrespectful people. And that goes for the men out there as well. Respect yourself, and in turn, others should respect you. And if not, show them the door. Too easy. This next poem is called Broken Wind-Up Toy by Julz Smith. I invited Julz to come on the show to recite her poem, but she told me she deals with a lot of anxiety issues and that she wouldn't be comfortable reciting it. So she asked me if I could, and I told her I would. Broken Wind-Up Toy. Another day in hell? Hell-like might be a more appropriate term. Though, if I had to compare where I've been the past few days, I might only simply say that I imagine it to be worse. In fact, in my mind, hell would definitely be an improvement. A step up, if you will say. A peaceful reprieve hell must be. That place of eternal torture and blissful fiery damnation of my immortal soul seems almost serene to where I've been. The only way I might have been aware of time passing would have been if I bothered to look at the screaming little screen. It's been so blinding. The streaming, ever-present facet of one story blending into the next are all I've had to drown out the screaming inside my head, and only to a minimal at best. Maybe that was enough this time. I entertained the worms and dirt while doing the usual reminiscent dance with death. How torturous is it to collapse unto paralyzed while my mind jumps from one track to the next in an endless loop of rumination and despair. Eyes sunken and swollen with silent pain and burning tears on my pillow and stinging eyes. Every single nerve ending aching like a rotten tooth in need of extraction. There is something gone awry in the timing of my mind gears. Perhaps one is cracked or broken, yet the clockmaker has gone away. Ultimately, I see no chance of anyone dropping in to retrieve the key and wind me up once more. Yeah, I know there's been plenty of times where I felt like a broken wind-up toy. It wouldn't be a possibility for me to even get started again. But luckily, I've always been able to find a way with help through others and help within myself. So just know that you can always find a way to be wound back up. You just have to keep searching and not give up. This next poet is a former guest, and I appreciate him for sharing another poem with us. This poem will give you a different perspective on the way to look at life and the things around you. I'd like to welcome back to the show, Jamie Morris.
The shot. So if you can imagine a cameraman and then the shot. When you take the shot, bullets don't fly. Just strange eccentricities reflected by one eye. The beautiful, the ugly, from ground to sky. And out comes a moment in time no one can deny. You see so much in every little thing with just one snap. Kidnapping moments in an instant and keeping them trapped. As you admire them later, and even more perhaps, when the frame of the eccentric gives timeless recap. When you aim to give the gift of forever life, to make a moment live forever for others to delight. To remember in the future what the past was like, making a later faded space still have its light. I can only imagine the poetic thoughts that run through you, the stillness of each frame and the joy of each view. Sometimes you are the first one to see it as something new. And when you capture it, oh, the emotions you knew. The endless possibilities of the things we normally miss are what you find by taking the time to show stillness. Each and every time you get the new high of what you see exists and all of the amazing moments you often reminisce. Each image gives such reflection that are worth many words, and each one changes with every view that occurs, creating the poems and the vision that it truly deserves, giving it way more life than one once may have observed. And it all started with you and a camera and a vision, seeing things beyond the normal with your creative ambition. To see beyond and create the beauty that was once hidden, it was then that you took the shot with such amazing precision.
Take the words of these poems and put them to use. Enjoy each shot in your life, because you never know when you're going to be able to enjoy the next. So take that time to enjoy each moment and don't let it pass you by. Before we go, I have a poem that I would like to share with you as well. I don't have a title for it, so I'm just going to go with it. What if one day you woke up and everyone looked just like you? Would you still hate that person, even in your skin too? Will your feelings change because your story's the same? Or would you understand because you've been through that pain? When you look in the mirror and finally see the truth, that when you look at someone, their path ain't much different than the path you walked through. Why do we focus on our differences, which tear us apart, when our similarities are buried deep in our heart? So unbury that treasure our ancestors have hidden. It's a new world, and new rules have been written. I'd like to thank you for joining us. I'd like to thank all the poets that came on to share their work or have their work shared. And if you're a poet and you would like to come on and have your work shared or share your work, please reach out to me. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. Please follow me at BM the Poet on Instagram and BM the Poet on Twitter. Please rate it 5 stars, subscribe, and share. Have a good evening.